Yesterday, your Jaguars brought you a dub, brought you back a present from the city of Indianapolis, first time in a half decade. And when it's all said and done, we can throw darts at what Duval took up there, but they come back winners. And it was a double-digit win against an AFC South rival, and your team starts 1-0. First time since 2020. Welcome into XL Primetime. We will follow the fuel of excitement that has filled the city from the drill this morning into Jaguars today, right into XL Primetime as we crank it up a little. Mokama Monday, thanks to Mokama Beer Company. We'll be telling you all about them as we go along today. But as we set it up, we want to know what drove you a little crazy yesterday, what kind of fired you up, even though you still came away with a 10-point win. You can hit the pop-off line, 207-70-71. But let's just start out going around the room. Big Search, that was, look, that wasn't the best performance that we've seen from Trevor Lawrence. He definitely had his moments of struggle, and the offensive line had a heck of a lot to do with it. But they came away with a 10-point win.
Oh, listen, sometimes you got to win ugly. We won ugly. We started well. We were messy in the middle, and we found a way to win. A divisional game, a lot of people are losing the perspective of the fact that we hadn't fared well in Indianapolis a very, very, very long time. All right? I mean, if you look at it, we were 0-9. A lot of people didn't know this. We were 0-9 in season openers. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence was 0-2 in his first two starts of season openers. We were going into a hostile environment with a rookie quarterback they drafted in the first round who's the face of the franchise. The crowd was ecstatic. The crowd was electric, whatever you want to say. And the Jaguars hadn't had a lot of success there. And to start there and go out there and come away with a W. I mean, this is what's happening to us now as Jaguar fans. Now we're picky. All right, we are.
All of a sudden,
we've become picky. We could pick at all the things that went wrong, but the bottom line is that this team found a way to win the game. And in years past, we couldn't say that. When they got down in the fourth quarter, you could chalk that L up. Yeah. But now we got a W. We got a check mark in the W because we found a way to win a very ugly game, and we persevered. So I'm proud of the team. Yeah, we left a lot of meat on the bone, so I'm pretty sure in the film room today they're going to show these guys that we could have won this game a lot easier.
I don't think we would have had an idea in our mind that we would be the Jaguars would be trailing in the fourth quarter going up against that squad.
Well, it's funny you say that. Leon, who won the Super Bowl last year?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. Did you know the Kansas City Chiefs went to Indianapolis Week 3 last year, and if not for a miracle Harrison Butker field goal as time expired, they would have lost to the Indianapolis Colts?
I remember that, absolutely.
So that's a team that had Travis Kelce, was clicking on all cylinders, unlike the Chiefs that we saw on Thursday night, perhaps. And guess what? It's tough to win on the road.
Oh, it is.
And as much as we love to laugh about Indianapolis and Lucas Oil Stadium, even the best teams struggle on the road. Not every game is going to be the 40-0 beatdown that the Dallas Cowboys handed to the New York Giants, which even then I think a lot of that has to do with the Giants and also the weather and also the circumstances. The reality is that if you look through the list of the games from yesterday across the NFL, how many of them were one-score games? How many of them came down to the fourth quarter, had fourth-quarter lead changes? That's what the NFL is. And so buckle up, Duval, because it's not going to be a 27-0 shutout like you had last year at home.
Yeah, but I think the things that jump out is that last year that was the former MVP and Matt Ryan that was at least leading the charge for them and an experienced head coach. This was a rookie quarterback that had 13 total starts, Matt, in his college career. And I think a lot of people went into this game with the rookie head coach as well going, this team is going to feast on that team. And it wasn't easy. It is a case
somebody
study
at this table said it was going to be a very tough
to go
game.
on the road.
Tell you that. Yeah. Someone at this table said it was going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
It's the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing. Number one. Number two, it's the NFL Week 1. Number three, this is what good teams do. If they get down late in the game, guess what? You come back and you win the game. I don't understand what the angst is about. You have a good team.
Oh, I think
you have a good team that went on the road in Week 1, not only won the game, but got down in the second half, figured out a way to come back, win the game, and win it rather comfortably.
Yeah, I think there's a fair reason for the angst because of the idea that this offense was going to, and again, this is me, was going to score a ton of points. Now, they got in the 30s, so they're still tracking for my 500 points in a 17-game schedule, but they just didn't
scored 30 on the road.
Yeah.
On the road.
On the road. On the road. Again, that was a team that I thought they would hammer, and they were trailing late. In the end, they had to knock down a big man in Anthony Richardson inside the 2-yard line to keep from taking it to a field goal game. So that offensive line, as we come out of that game, That's the biggest question mark for me.
Real quick asterisk, I was wrong. I misspoke.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs did lose at the Colts on a field goal last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I thought they did, yeah.
So
Yeah.
just to put it into perspective,
Right.
Yeah.
because as much as, yes, they had Matt Ryan, that was a Colts team that won what? 4 games last year?
Oh, yeah, and they benched him and went through the whole deal. But, yeah, they ended up, what was the Chiefs' record? 3 losses? So that was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, yeah, you're just talking about a football team that I still have a little bit of worry. I was more worried coming out of this game about the offensive line than I was the defensive one.
Well, I mean, listen, Coach Campbell talked about this on the 5th quarter yesterday when he said that defensively they had to change their strategy because with the anticipation of Anthony Richardson and the damage he could do running the ball, they played a lot of zone. So if you saw early on, he was running the zone read. They ran a little quarterback counter. He was dinking and dunking. Coach Campbell was saying that defensively, the last thing they wanted was this guy to go off on a tear of 10, 15, 20 yards running the ball, eclipsing 3rd and long, 2nd and long situations. So they had to play safe. They came in and attacked them a little bit later in the second half once they realized they had contained of them. But, I mean, the whole game plan defensively had to be different because of this guy's ability and what he was capable of doing. Yeah. Now, as far as our team goes, I mean, the interior of the offensive line needs help. It needs work. I don't know what they need to do, but they gave up a lot. No, don't get me wrong. The Forrest Buckner is a beast.
Yeah,
right? It doesn't matter who he's on, the center or the 2 guards, he's going to eat you up. That arm under move that he get Ben Barch, it was almost criminal the way he beat him that bad and got that blindside hit on Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. Last thing we won was a lot of blindside hits on Trevor Lawrence. I was more concerned about Anton Harrison, as far as getting beat, whatever. I mean, he had an okay game or whatever. Nobody at the offensive line was stellar. Right. They struggled on the road against a very good defensive front. But we've got to do a better job in protecting Trevor in the middle and our ability to run the ball. How many times did we have 3rd and short and couldn't get it? Honestly, that's criminal. I mean, come on, you can't have that kind of play.
Is that on the personnel or the play calling?
No, that's on the personnel. Mm-hmm. That's on the guys. I mean, you got at some particular point you got to put on your big boy pants and line up. Right. And when you start having guys, when the coach start calling bunch formations and trying to throw quick passes on 3rd and 1, what are you saying to your offensive line? That you can't get 1 yard? Mm-hmm. You can't get 4th and 1? You gotta do quick passes and screens and all that? Come on now. That should be an insult to any offensive line. That should be an insult.
I'm going to play you right now.
Please.
Those guys get paid too, on the defensive line.
Yeah, but
front 7, the Colts, they get paid too.
Yeah, but the expectation of a team a lot higher than the Colts.
All right,
you should go in there. You should go in there.
Just remember this, okay? Just remember this.
I think we're way overreacting to this. Way overreacting.
No. I don't even think we're overreacting.
I really do. Yeah.
I don't think we're overreacting.
Not being able to convert 3rd and 1.
I mean, you go on the run, you win by 10.
Yeah, but the 3rd and 1 is still
your quarterback makes a couple unbelievable throws.
Oh, he did
for 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. The receiver you got in whatever we'll call it free agency. It wasn't free agency; it was a trade, but it may as well have been free agency. Right. Calvin Ridley was the best player in the field, other than the quarterback
in the first half.
And then, for some reason, was lost in the second half of the play calling. But that's another story for another time. But, I mean, your pass rush looked better. Your coverage looked better. We saw how they were going to rush with the linebacker and rush with the nickel. Mm-hmm. I watched that game and I thought, all right,
okay,
this looks like a team that's actually made some significant strides.
Yeah, but just to make it clear, I don't think people are like freaking out saying this.
No,
I think they are.
There are people.
No. I'm saying they're not freaking out saying this team stinks. They're freaking out over the things that they expected to be better. Okay, that's what I think they're doing.
But what's not better? I guess is the question.
Well, I think you're not wrong when you say it the way you're saying it. But I still think, in other words, we went through an entire offseason where everyone, going back to Leon's point, everyone started just patting this team on the back. You are there. You are built. You've got the right coach. You've got the right quarterback. You're being picked to go to the Super Bowl. And I even tweeted during the game, I think Trev might have heard some of that MVP chatter about him because they didn't quite have that whole mesh and chemistry I think most people were expecting. They still played a good enough game to win. Like
those guys get paid too. You know that, right?
I know that.
Now, those 2 balls that Trevor threw, those were NBA caliber throws. To Zay Flower, Zay Jones, and then the one. I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about Evan Ingram when he went over the top and picked the ball over top of the defender. That was a hell of a throw and a hell of a catch.
The role and throwing over his shoulder.
Oh, yeah, the roll to the left. The roll to the left.
That was
yeah.
ridiculous.
How about the one where he splits the two defenders and the two
and they ran
defenders
into
go
each
running
other?
into each other like a cartoon? It was fantastic.
And
Joe, by the way, we appreciate everyone, all of our Nooners out there in Nooner Nation. 641-1010, the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures is open. So is the pop-off line if you want to hit us there at 207-7071. My personal text line also open, and Poppy up in New Jersey wants to know, what did Joe want? 50 points?
Let me tell you something. Speaking of Poppy or whatever, I was praying to what our little ones called my mom, Abuelita. Okay, I was praying to her. Whenever I need a point spread to go my way, I pray to my mom. Okay, hey, Abuelita, would you please pull me through this? That was a 5-point line, people, when I got involved. And so I was worried about that. So there's no question. My financial fandom will take over. JJ knows this better than anybody else on XLP. But
that guy Steichen, he's a fool.
Yeah.
He
should have kicked the field goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Almost ruining all Jags -5 bettors.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the game, obviously to save time for your team as well, you kick the field goal there, then you try to get the onside kick or you stop him, call the timeouts. That was inexplicable.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I guess is this his first year as a head coach, right?
Yes, it is.
That was terrible.
That was. And by
almost
the way,
cost us.
It's so funny because you could throw him and Andy Reid in the same pile.
Yes,
Andy
but I'll
Reid
give
made
Andy Reid a little bit of
terrible decision Thursday night.
They just regular season Chiefs. We always talk about this. They're just like, whatever. We'll go for it on 4th and 25. Like they just don't take it seriously. This guy Steichen, though, I'm questioning the hire.
He truly does look like Nick Foles, as if Nick Foles lost about 55 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky if you look at it that way. Maybe it's the Colts blue. But no, the reality is, look, it's week 1. Leon, you can speak to this. Like, is week 1 not about shaking off the rust in some regards? How many times, again, outside of the Dallas Cowboys and outside of the San Francisco 49ers for what it's worth, how often do you see an absolute just beat down week 1 where the opposition looks like it's firing on all cylinders?
Not too often. If you see a beat down like that, like you saw with the 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's probably that one team is overly prepared, another team is underprepared. Mm-hmm. But to be quite honest with you, the 49ers just looked that good. I mean, on both sides of the ball, they were clicking on all cylinders. And the Steelers, here's what I don't understand about the Steelers is that they were built on toughness, defense, running the ball, all that kind of stuff. The first couple of drives, I mean, they're throwing quick passes and quick screen. Why did you draft Najee Harris if you're not going to run the ball? All this attention to the offensive line and stuff, and you're trying to get same thing with the Jack, bunch formation, quick screens, and all that kind of stuff. What happened to the two tights? That's what the 49ers did. 49ers line up their offensive line, two tight, fullback, whatever you want to do. We're coming to pound the ball at you. Christian McCaffrey ran crazy on them in that game like that.
You want to talk about meaningless preseasons? Take a look at the rankings that Kenny Pickett and his
he was going to the Super Bowl after the way he played in the preseason.
Oh, my gosh. And so two teams at home. You want to talk about how quirky and crazy the NFL can be? Mm-hmm. We start out with it's tough to win on the road. Two teams named the 49ers and Cowboys won on the road and beat that A.
Yeah.
Beat that A. Shut out the Giants. And obviously what San Francisco did to Pittsburgh when you thought Pittsburgh was going to look entirely different. So we got all the NFL that we can look through and just kind of like, heck, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Minnesota Vikings. Mm-hmm. Okay, at home with Baker. Baker wasn't bad. Now, that's an up and down thing with Baker. It's not going to last, but still give him credit for that. Take a look at all the other surprises. Look at the L.A. Rams going up to Seattle. Yeah. Okay,
playoff team a year ago.
And by the way, there were at least two teams that were considered, in tank mode. Arizona goes in and basically dictates that game for a long time against the Washington Commanders before finally the Commanders win. So, look, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for things that I expected to be a bit better, and I have to give credit to the Indianapolis Colts. That crowd was good. AR, when all things are said and done, they had a game plan that was working for him, and he almost pulled off the upset of upsets because that would have been the chatter coming out of this past, the opening week. He would have been one of the main talking points if he was able to pull that bad boy off. And they put a couple of hats on him right there at the 2-yard line, Leon, or it was an entirely different ball game.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson Campbell getting that interception.
Oh.
Enough's not being said about what about Agnew? What about that punt return? Listen,
Round of applause.
If he doesn't take that,
Agnew.
if he doesn't take that punt return and flip the field on us, I mean, I'm not sure our offense behind the 10-yard line, the way their defensive front was getting after, I'm not sure that we go down and score in that particular drive. And who knows? The Colts get the ball again. You don't know if they score a touchdown or a field goal. We was in a situation where if Agnew didn't flip that field and give us an opportunity to go down and take the go-ahead score, I'm not sure if we would have had any kind of success with them offensively.
I asked, okay, and you guys can definitely hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, but we'll use this as X since we have X now instead of Twitter. But who was the X factor? And I asked yesterday what the fans think, and a lot of people came in on Jamal Agnew. Totally agree with that. Think about what he did earlier in the half. Okay, he takes the opening kickoff. They're getting the ball, and he decides to bring it out, and they get the ball at the 15-yard line. It was a bad decision by him. Bad decision. I think he had 2 offensive plays. They didn't gain a lot of yardage off that. So he was a little frustrated, I'm sure, and decides to take that ball there. And I'm like, just like most everybody else out there watching, go, no, don't. And
I was screaming, no. Exactly, I was. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I also was screaming, what are you doing, when Doug went for it on 4th and 2. Or I guess Press went for it, if you may, on 4th and 2. Although, listen, and let's address that elephant in the room while we're here. I understand that mysteriously that Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network report dropped yesterday morning, and all of you were, wait, why is Press Taylor calling plays? If you read the story from Ian, and as I also reported, Press Taylor called the second half of every game last year, which, as JJ noted in our pre-production meeting, you can do with that information what you want because the Jaguars looked pretty darn good coming out of halftime. They showed the graphic yesterday during the game, had the highest scoring output in the third quarter of any team in the National Football League last year. Yeah. And so, look, it's also week 1. There's going to be bumps in the road. It's going to be clunky. It's the same thing with putting together a radio show week 1. This is our first time, of the season going through it. Like it's just the nature of it's the first time of the season. No,
our show is way better than whatever Press Taylor was doing.
Right. I was more so alluding to our technical issues with the kickoff show yesterday, JJ. But yes, we're perfect on this show. Obviously, you all know that. But no, it's. Listen.
Well, it was the first 60 minutes of the season that this team's played full.
Right.
And so there is something to be said for that. Tank Bigsby, let's get to him. He's a rookie. He's going to show some inexperience. And the decision that he made to just hold on to the ball and not do anything cost this team 6 points, okay? And you want to talk about a sudden change? You add up 2 things that happened going into the second half. Jamal's decision to bring it out. They start at the 15. They go 3 and out. They have to punt it away. They give a short field to Anthony Richardson, and then he makes the play to Michael Pittman, and Michael Pittman just absolutely worked Tyson Campbell, and I think it might have been Devin Lloyd or Aluakon up the sideline. Bottom line is they cut it quickly and really kind of stole the momentum, any momentum that Jacksonville was hoping to have come out of the locker room. And so then Tank also, that was not a great pass by Trevor, but obviously it led to a pick as well. So Tank's going to learn. Tank got in the end zone later on. And I know
How about that run where he carried the entire team for a first down inside the 1? That was amazing.
Yeah, he needed it. All right, let's hit that real quick just so we can keep it rolling here as far as stuff coming out on a Monday.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So Doug Peterson is currently meeting with reporters down at the MEC, the Miller Electric Center. Billy Napier also meeting with reporters, but we'll get to that at a different time. And he says that tests have showed that right guard Brandon Scherf has an ankle sprain, says he'd be tender this week, and then they will see where he's at. But it does seem like there is a chance that you will see Tyler Shatley starting at right guard against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And at the very least, you're talking about an experienced guy who's played now.
Shatley's greatest strength is his strength.
Yes.
Completely.
All 3, and it's actually becoming versatility too, Gus, because he's played left guard, center, and right guard, and has been able to do it. So it's not the worst position, and I don't even want to talk anymore about injuries, but if you're looking at a place where there is some depth, that's not bad.
Yeah, I've been in a situation that sure has been there where you get a little ankle injury and you leave and you come back You're full of adrenaline. Adrenaline. I'm saying that right?
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline. There you go. And you play the game. You finish the game out. Whatever. The key is that how swole it is, how swole the ankle is after the game. Because I don't know what you do. You take whatever you take a shot, take pills, whatever, because you want to get back in the game. And then when you play in the game, and then when you leave, and you got to take that plane flight because the altitude.
Oh yeah.
Causes swelling as well. As far as you flying and stuff, then when you get
balloons
home,
up.
And it balloons up. So that the key is to get the swelling down today and the next couple of days, and see if he can actually practice on it. Because a game against the Chiefs, with a possibility with their defensive front, the way we struggle. If you're sure if you want to be in there, but it's good to have someone like Shatley as a backup. That utility. That Swiss Army knife. Yeah, that can play.
Yeah, he's definitely the utility infielder. I'd say we send Chris Jones just some great barbecue this week and just keep him on the sidelines.
He's going to sign this
Do
week,
not
right?
want to see that man
Well,
inside.
Even if he signs, he probably won't play. Right?
Yeah,
Or it'll
well,
only be
we'll play.
25 to. Well, Nick Bosa played, and he
Yeah,
only
and he
signed
looked
last
okay.
week. But it's 25 to 30% of the snaps, maybe.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa only had to play that because they were up by so much. I think that maybe if you guys felt this too, it was a little bit warmer outside this morning. If we keep trending that way, maybe
The
Chris
humidity.
Jones says, "I'll come to the game, but I'm going to sit in the box." I really don't want to be
The
out in the
pool.
humidity. The pool.
Yeah.
How about that? What if Chris Jones does come to Duval, but he's hanging out in the pool watching the game?
I don't know. I would never recommend a Jaguar fan give a Chief something, but what if they were willing to give up tickets for Chris Jones to be in the pool up there in the cabana
I want them at their best. Because I don't want any built-in excuse. I don't want no Kelsey, no Jones. No, I want them at their best.
I hate that.
They were trailing in the fourth quarter yesterday, Leon, to a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback.
Listen, we're at home now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't you rather Patrick Mahomes take a week off?
No, bro. I want them at their best, and I want to see how we handle it. I don't want them coming in limping. Come on, bro.
All right, now
there's no. You don't get anything out of that.
This is the game of the week. If there was a college game day, they would be here.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so you guys can pop off. You can celebrate. Obviously, it is a 10-point win inside the division. You start off 1-0, and you put them in a hole 0-1. The Tennessee Titans lost. You can look at the Houston Texans. This is the only 1-0 team inside the division. So 207-70-71, you can pop off. We say thanks to Mocama Beer Company, and we're talking about a great experience up in Fernandina Beach. And what is Mocama? Well, it's between the sun and the moon, and underneath the stars, you can find Mocama. And they are right there on South 8th in Fernandina, and they are just creating great craft. Today, it's coffee. Tuesday through Sunday, it's craft. Like the Cosmico, the Rare Cargo. They got delicious IPAs, Pilsner, stouts, fruited, sours, you name it. The lagers, they got it all. So check out mocama.com and find out where you can pick them up. If you're out and about at, say, Total Wine or ABC, or head on up to Fernandina and enjoy the tap
We're going to
room.
be there in 2 weeks' time.
Yes. We're going to be all over the place. XLP is going to be on the road later this week, next, and then, like you said, September 29th up there to celebrate with a little Mocama. So let's get into your Jags. Stay there. Look at the rest of the National Football League. But we got to talk about your Canes.
Yep.
Your Canes sending Jimbo and Bobby Petrino back to College Station with all sorts of question marks around that playbook and that performance. And then the Texas Longhorns beating that butt, beating up on Nick Saban's boys. Yeah. We will get into that, the rest of the college football world. What were you going to say?
No, I'm going to say, after week 1, the Jaguars are the 1 seed.
Yes.
And they also, until the 4 o'clock window hit, were the highest scoring team in the National Football League.
That part.
If only for 7 games.
Yes.
And then came the nighttime when 40 went on the board.
Right. Well, 40 went on the board, and we'll span the rest of the National Football League. 40 for me was the Cowboys are good, but also, again, chicken or the egg.
But it was 40 points versus a $40 million Danny Jones, who I think the special teams and defense scored twice as many touchdowns as Daniel Jones did.
Right. I don't know if you can blame the rain or not, but the other game, of course, which a round of applause for the state of Florida, going 3-0 on the NFL gridiron yesterday. The Dolphins,
that
big
was a
one.
Performance.
Big one out in La La Land.
Yeah, JJ called that one money line with the Miami Dolphins, not even taking the points. All right, so we got so much to get into. It is a Monday. We'd love for you to hang out with us. You can do it on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and check out 1010XL and say hey to us there.